Greetings and salutations. I'm in an amazing mood tonight because I have a few pieces of really good news that have gotten me really excited. I had an amazing day, an awesome weekend, and this is probably the best day I've had in quite some time. So it feels good to kind of feel back on top of things. First piece of news that I already talked about last week, I think I talked about both of these last week. I got a tattoo, and this is, there we go. That's the tattoo there. I think it looks absolutely amazing. I really, really love it. It's one that my sister and my mum got as well. So my sister kind of got it on her forearm and my mum got hers behind her ear. It's my first colour tattoo. I love it so much. It's really special to me. I've already explained about my sister and her endometriosis. Again, if you're watching this and you haven't looked up endometriosis or you haven't watched the video about my sister, please do. Mum and I were talking about it today, that endometriosis is beginning to be talked about, but it's not being talked about as much as what it should be. It should be one of those things that is known. You know, there's a lot of girls out there still that think that having a painful period where you're doubled over and crying is normal. No, you need to go and get that checked out. So endometriosis awareness is something that's really close to all three of us. Having watched my sister suffer quite a bit, it's really special to me and important to me that I've gotten this tattoo. And as I've explained before, I've gotten it somewhere where it can be seen so that people ask me about it and I can explain. Just so, yeah, we open that conversation into talking about endometriosis. Second bit of good news is I went and had a job interview today, and it was a really good interview. I was quite happy with myself walking out of there. I was interviewed by three ladies for a company that's not too far away, which is good. Where I previously worked, it was like an hour and a half on the train there and then an hour and a half on the train back. So that was one of the reasons I did decide to leave that job. It was quite a bit of travel for me. This one's really not far at all. I can drive there, which is really exciting. Yeah, I was proud of myself in the way I did in the interview, because I've been kind of losing confidence the past few weeks as I've gone and done a couple other interviews, and then I've gotten the call to either say you haven't gotten the job or I haven't gotten contacted at all, which I really hate. You ever do job interviews, please contact the people you're not going to hire, even if it's just by a simple email. I think a lot of people, even ones without anxiety, but especially anxiety, would much rather know to forget about it than continually wonder, you know, have I gotten it? Is it just taking more time? I'd rather just get the email or the phone call saying, unfortunately, you're not the right person, than continue to wonder. I read a joke a few weeks ago. It was something along the lines of, oh, that job interview I went for 2 years ago, you know, I never heard back from them. I think they moved on with somebody else, but I'm not sure. It's just a gut feeling. But yeah, so that's really good. It was like catching up with old friends. Something I believe about interviews is not relaxed to the point where it's still not an interview, but kind of the better the flow, the better the interview is going. I always try to break the ice, and I love having a joke with people. I like asking them how their day is, so kind of breaking that ice, and being able to feel like you're more catching up than actually having an interview. That's what I felt today. I felt like I was just talking to people I've met before, rather than meeting these people for the first time and having to sell my abilities to them. It just felt like I was talking to them on a regular basis. This is the first employer where I've let them know. I've signed up with a disability employment service. I previously haven't been signed up with them, but this is the first employer that I've gone in and said and kind of given that pretext of I do have a disability. It's not that I think it's going to affect my job too much. It's more I need the support if anything happens, because I've had to have time off at both my previous jobs. You know, I'd never plan it. I just get in such a bad mental state that I physically can't get out of bed, especially when I was traveling on the train. If I was in such a bad headspace, and yeah, just waiting on the platform tracks would be, not the tracks, sorry, but waiting on the platform for the train felt dangerous to me. I didn't trust myself. So I'm really excited to be close to this time. I feel myself kind of in mental health wise, I'm starting to go up. I'm nowhere near as bad as what I was in November when I had to leave my job. As I said, today's the best day. I kind of have a tendency of having really good highs and then having a bad low. I usually can get through that bad low. It's not like super bad. But I am worried because I'm feeling really great today. Maybe not tomorrow, but later during the week I'll be kind of feeling that down period again. I'm trying not to get my hopes too high, but I'll keep going about what happened. So yeah, felt like I was chatting with old friends. In case you can't tell, because my videos are really friggin' dark, I've got blue dyed hair at the front and kind of pinky dyed hair. There we go, there's a bit of lighting. So the blue and the pink in my hair. So I just said to them, I had it up in a ponytail today, and I said to them that if my hair was a problem, because I know that there are some businesses where they want you to present yourself normal looking, if that's the way to put it, I guess, with more regular hair, more natural color hair. But they said they actually really liked my hair. They think that it brought out my personality in a good way. They said as soon as I walked in the door that they had a really good feeling about my bubbly personality and my confidence. And when they said that, I joked and said, oh good, I've gotten really good at faking it then, because inside I'm dying at the moment. No, I think I can come across as a really happy, genuine person. I try my best to do that, but the anxiety inside, it's when I was waiting in my car, because I always try to get there to an interview 5 to 10 minutes early, and then if I get there more about 10 minutes early, I might sit in my car for a minute or two, or wait outside. So that's just preparing myself for getting me more anxious. And yeah, when I walked into the office, the door was closed and I heard people talking. So I was like standing there hesitating do I just open the door? Do I knock on the door? Because it was the main office door. And so I don't know how I came off as confident, because when I came in, I was like feeling really meek. I was like, oh, sorry, hi. Oscar, stop it. But yeah, I think I sold myself really well and on my skills. I said I'm really happy to learn. I'm very much a person that enjoys continuing to learn things until I master them. Most of the stuff that we had a look at I've done before. Won't be on the same scale, the phone calls. The last job I had was with this massive company. Think the most phone calls we got in one day was like 300 phone calls. That was brutal. I think that was when we were having like a small team as well, because as I was there, the team kind of got smaller and smaller. I felt really bad leaving when I did, because there was only a couple of us left, and they hadn't gotten anyone new in. I'm kind of hoping that with me leaving, because they weren't, when I was there, they weren't planning on getting one in, so I hope with me leaving they got a couple people to come in and they were able to get those team numbers back up. But I did feel bad leaving them when I did, though, because it wasn't I don't think it's ever a good time to leave a business, but when it's a group of, it's meant to be a team of 10 people and you're only down to 5, you know, that's worse than leaving when there is the 10 people. But you know, they said the phone calls won't be that much. The phone calls won't be me taking like 30, 40, 50 phone calls. I think the most I took in a day was like 60. I think the record was in the 70s. It was either the most I took was 50 and the record was in the 60s, or the most I took was 60 and the record was in the 70s. But yeah, so I'm excited to do tasks. I'm excited to learn. The businesses I've previously worked at do a lot of computer-based things. This one's more just writing it down in books, which I'm really excited about. Especially my first job, I was kind of known as the notebook girl, because at my first job I had when I left school, which is where I did a traineeship, my business traineeship, I had like 6 or 7 books going, and then at my second job I had like maybe 3 or 4, 5 books going. So to find out that there will be use of notebooks actually really excited me. I was able to talk to them about that as well. There was a girl probably around my sister's age, so mid-20s to 30s. And she's similar to me. She said that she loves having notebooks and having everything organized, and I went, beautiful, you and I are going to get on great. I did have to admit that one of my issues is I'm quite hard on myself. I think I've talked about this before, where standard was to meet 110, so the 80 tasks, 30 phone calls. And if I wasn't meeting the 30 phone calls and 110 tasks, so making it up to 140 or 120 tasks or 130 tasks, I would be disappointed in myself. So I was almost trying to double my task numbers, and that was quite hard to do. The reason it was 80-30 is because that's what you should be hitting in the day. If you're doing more than that, you're going too fast through your tasks, and it means you're doing something wrong. But, you know, if I wasn't hitting those higher numbers, I was fuming with myself. So that's something I've got to learn. That was me putting pressure on myself at work, and that was, again, another thing that was detrimental to my mental health. Nothing that they did. They never pushed me to do anything more. I think at the end, because we had such a smaller team, I felt I needed to do more because the work was piling up. You know, at one point we had barely anything in the queues. And then as people started to leave, we started getting hundreds, and then the hundreds turned into 1,000. And instead of having things done the day they came in, things were getting done a day or two after. So I think we had roughly a 5-day turnaround. So if something came in the Monday, you had to get it done on the Friday or the next Monday. Whereas when the team got smaller, we weren't getting things done. They came in on the Monday, we weren't getting them done until the next Tuesday, either late Monday or next Tuesday, which I was harsh on myself on that. But, you know, there's only so much you can do. So yeah, it's something I've got to make sure it doesn't happen again. You know, everyone was telling me, I was bringing it home with me as well, which as a junior worker, that's not what you're meant to do. You're meant to work your hours, you know, your 9 to 5, go home, relax, come in the next morning, and then worry about it. You're not meant to kind of go home and crying and upset because you didn't get it all done today. And that's what I was doing, because I'm very much a person, I don't like passing it on to somebody else, because then I feel like I'm letting people down. So if I don't get something done, I feel bad having to pass it on, or if it gets to a point where they're like, why haven't you done this? I feel really guilty for that. But, you know, being able to put my hand up and say, you know, I don't think I'm going to get this done. Can I get some help? I think I do that from time to time, but I also can become quite stubborn in I'm going to get this done. So it's some things I need to work on, but the only way I'm going to work on them is getting back into work. But yeah, the interview went friggin' fantastic. I think it's the best interview I've ever had. I'm trying to not get my hopes up, because in previous times, I know especially at my last job, the interview I had with them, I thought I did absolutely shit in. Like, it was a recruitment company that got me with my previous job, and the lady who put me up for it rang me after, and she's like, oh, how'd you think I went? Oh, I went absolute shit. And you could hear she was disappointed, because I think that reflects badly on them if they put people who don't do well up for the position. But yeah, no, not even 24 hours later, I had the phone call saying I'd gotten it, which was a big surprise. And, you know, I had an interview 2-3 weeks ago. I thought I did absolutely fantastic in. I thought I had the job all locked in, but nah. So, you know, you can think you do a fantastic job in an interview. Another thing I've got to learn is to not take it personally. That's something I really need to work on. When they're choosing who to hire, it's not personal, it's business. I went for an interview a week or two ago at a law firm, and I believe the reason I didn't get that position was, one, I haven't worked it was a receptionist position. I haven't worked a receptionist. I've done admin, I've done call center, or I've done that kind of work, and I've done some face-to-face contact, but I've never been an actual receptionist. Number two is I think my appearance did weigh a factor in, because as a receptionist, especially for a law firm, you're the first person they're going to see when they walk in, so that can sometimes set a tone. They want to set the right kind of tone. I don't think once you speak to me, I believe I do give off a good vibe, but maybe when you walk in, because I do have that kind of weird color hair, you know, I think that some people can be quick to judge, which, you know, that's their business. I can be quick to judge people with lots of tattoos, especially, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the way I've been brought up, because my parents have certain opinions on things, and, you know, I try my best not to judge people. And, you know, I've read somewhere that your first thought you have when looking at something is the way you've been conditioned into thinking about it. So, like, you know, looking at big burly guy with lots of tattoos smoking, you know, being conditioned into thinking, oh, he might be a bad person. Your second thought you have after that describes who you are as a person. So thinking, like, see that big burly guy and go, oh, he could be bad news, and then going, well, hang on, you don't know him. His appearance may not mean anything to his character. So I always try to do that when I look at someone. If my initial kind of thought is negative, I try to reason with myself behind it, and go, you know, that's not fair. Imagine if someone looked at you and went, oh, you know, crazy coloured hair and couple tattoos, she must be, you know, not a hard worker. She must not be a very good person. That would absolutely break my heart, because that's not who I am. So I try my best not to do that, but I do understand from a business perspective what it can mean. I think maybe the older generation, maybe the baby boomers, and this isn't a dig at them, both my parents are baby boomers, so I'm going off what their opinions are, because back, especially when my mum was, you know, in her teens, 20s, even in her 30s, it wasn't until the 90s and 2000s, I think, that tattoos became normal. It was more like bikers and people, the way she describes it is it was more bikers and peoples in gangs that got tattoos. Don't know if that's 100% true, but that's just the way she describes it, and maybe the area that she grew up in as well that factors into that description. So yeah, I think the older generation, if that's true, and it was when they were growing up, the stigma was bikers and people in gangs were the ones to get tattoos, and I kind of understand where they're coming from. But I believe with the millennials and the zennials, we'll be more open in what we think about tattoos. I think there's a limit. Like, if you go into a job interview and you have swear words all up and down your arm, oh god, I sound like such an old person. It's because of the way I've been raised. If you have swear words up and down your arms, I think there is kind of that limit that, you know, that is unprofessional. But if you just have like symbols like I do, which is the clover and that one on my arm, and the one behind my ear, you know, that you'll get that it'll get looked past. And so I kind of said to them today, if they wanted me to dye my hair normal, nope, they absolutely loved my hair, which made me feel really good, because I've been humming and hawing about going and dyeing it back to a more normal color if I wasn't gonna if I wasn't successful in getting a job in the next few weeks. I had a jacket on this morning. It was boiling hot, but because I only got this tattoo yesterday, I still also had the not the cling wrap, it was like a clear bandage on it, and because I didn't know what to expect from the business, I decided to wear the jacket. And then during the interview, once they said that my hair was fine and that they liked it, I said, just for the sake of honesty, I want to let you know that I do have some tattoos as well. So I took off my jacket and I showed them the two clearly visible ones, and once I explained, especially the one for my sister, I just showed them the 4-leaf clover, and once I said why I got that one for my sister yesterday, they really liked that. So we had a good talk about that as well. Yeah, so at the end of the interview, felt really good. I think we all meshed really well together. And they said, they'll give me a call next week because I have more interviews during the week. Yep, not a problem. Beautiful. I look forward to hearing from you. Something else I was really proud of, sorry, going back. Something I was really proud of, and I'm going to give myself a little pat on the head for. When I go and interview at a business or at a place of employment, I always look up who that place of employment is. Because I don't want to waste their time. If it's not somewhere, I know beggars can't be choosers, and, you know, looking for a job, you can't really pick and choose which businesses to go to. I don't want to work at a call center, you know, the ones that call you during the middle of the day and try to sell you something. That's not somewhere I would like to work. Someone I used to work with worked at a scam call center, and I couldn't do that. I could not do that for the life of me. I wouldn't be able to work in chasing down people's money or anything like that. It's not who I am, and I'm not judging anyone who can do that. I'm just not strong enough to. But yeah, so I always look up at the business, and this business was really interesting, and I was going through their website, and as I was going through their website, I noticed there was a photo that was upside down. So I kind of made a mental note in my head, you know, mention it to them tomorrow. And yeah, I don't know if it's a really good idea if you want people to look at your, like, if you're having interviews and you want to know if someone's looked at your business and looked at your website, putting something in that's a little obvious if you found it, but not if you don't go looking at the website, like an upside down photo, is really clever. So I don't know if it was intentional or if it was a complete accident, but yeah, today I went in, I just let them know that there was the upside down photo, but I couldn't remember exactly what section it was in. So when I got home, I just sent a quick email to the main person that I've been talking to, just a screenshot of where I found that upside down photo, and just again thanking them for the opportunity. About 3 o'clock this afternoon, she gave me a call back. And she said that they were really impressed by me and they loved me and they'd like me to come in tomorrow and meet the rest of the team. So I'm really, really pumped. I have a great feeling, and I know it may not seem like I'm trying to keep the confidence low, but with previous experience of thinking I've gotten something and then no, I haven't, I'm trying to not get too confident. I'm hopeful. You know, from what she said, I've got it. But tomorrow's just a meeting of the rest of the team. Until the contract is signed, sealed and delivered, I'll try not to celebrate. But you know what? I can walk away from this, even if I don't get it. I can walk away going, I did my absolute best. I think I did everything I could have done right. If it goes to someone else, again, it's not a personal thing. And I've got to be able to look at that and go, not even go, what did I do wrong? Because I don't think I did anything wrong. There might have been areas that I could have, I think with everything there's always areas of improvement, but I think everything I could have done right, I did. So if I don't get it, it's not meant to be. If I do, I'm super psyched. Hopefully I'll have some even better news either tomorrow or the end of the week. But yeah, it's a good feeling. It's given me a bit of confidence back in my ability. I think I'm a good employee. You know, going to interviews and getting rejected makes you think, well, what am I not doing right? I think I'm good enough. What's made you think I'm not good enough? And again, it's not personal. The one I got rejected from, even though I am a junior, because I had that previous experience, I think they were looking for an entry-level junior, not so much an age junior. And it's funny, like, I don't know if I classify myself as a junior now. I'm about to turn 20, and we talked about today how that transition from 19 to 20, it sounds like such a big leap, but it's not. Like, I'm only a few months out from turning 20, but it feels like it's going to be so it's like, it sounds so far apart when it's only a few months. And I think it's because you go from teenager, and anything from 20 up I've always looked as an adult, because you go kids, which are usually 13 and under, teenager, and then it's just adult or young adult and then adult. And it's kind of scary getting there, because with mum being a teacher, sometimes she leaves the classroom and they'll be like, excuse me, Miss Madison, and I'll be like, you what? And they'll think I'm in charge. I'm like, nah, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm as much of a kid as you. I don't know anything. And I remember one time, I think I sound mature, just my voice. I don't think that from talking to me and not seeing my face. I think even looking at me, you may not be able to guess my age. I got called ma'am, and I wasn't so much that I was offended, it was just like a shock to the system. I was like, I'm not ma'am. I didn't say this to them. I of course hung up the phone, because I would never go off at someone for using a term that's meant to be, to me it is meant to be a flattering term. It's meant to be that you're the authority figure and they recognize that, or you're kind of, I don't know how to explain it. But to me, ma'am is meant to be a nice thing. I see some people get offended by it. I wasn't offended, but it was just like that shock. And I went to the girls that were sitting around me. I went, I just got called ma'am. I'm not a ma'am. I'm a kid. And I remember when I was younger, there were girls having children, and I'm going, they can't be having children. There's even girls who are 19, 20 that I went to high school with that have children or are having children. I'm going, hey, you're having children, we're still children. I know some of them might mature faster than me and everything, but it's that scary feeling of, how can you look after a child? We're still children. We don't know what we're doing with our lives. But that could just be me. They may have everything absolutely sorted in their lives, and good on them if they do. I'm not ready, however. I'm going to be one of those people that probably lives with my parents for a long time. I think it's also because of that separation anxiety. I don't see myself going anywhere. We have a great setup. Luckily, we have double story. So I basically roam one section of the house, they use the other. And unless I choose to go spend time with them, I don't have to, but I love my parents, I love my family. But yeah, I've got basically free roam of part of the house, and they've got their section. So at times it's almost like, especially when I've been off work and most of the days have been home by myself, it's like living by myself. I went and house sat for my sister a few months ago, and that was a strange experience, because that was my first time house sitting and being in a house that wasn't my own, but it kind of proved that I could do it, which was, it's an important step with separation anxiety, is that proving that you can get through things without mum and dad. For me, mum and dad mum was pregnant with my sister when they got married, and they never went on a honeymoon. They were the types of parents that from Adrian's birth until maybe last year, maybe the year before that, 2018, 2017, 2018 I'd say. I think they waited till I was out of high school. They didn't go on any holidays. They'd go on like weekend trips to the city, but that's like an hour away. It's nothing. They never went overseas. They never went out on massive things. And they're finally doing that, and I'm really excited for them. When they first leave and go away, I still have that. The first night's usually the hardest of me missing them, but usually once I get through that first night, it's almost proving to myself, you're fine, you can do this. So little baby steps. I think having my own car, having a job, them going away from occasion, and having to look after myself, these are all positive things for me. It's teaching myself that I'm capable, that I am becoming an adult, and it's hard to still not see myself as a kid anymore. I know that sounds strange. I sometimes joke that I'm just a kid who can drink and drive, not together, but I can have a drink and I can drive my own car, because I don't feel like I'm an adult. I still feel like a year 7, 12-y walking around the hallways where everyone seems to be more confident and know more than me. In year 7, I always looked up to the year 12s. I think up until like year 10, I always looked up to the year 12s and went, I'll never be that confident and that cocky in the hallways. But oh mate, when I hit year 12, I was like, excuse me, I'm in year 12 now, you respect me. We also joke, we found that the years became more disrespectful after us, because there was a certain section of the school where only seniors, so 11 and 12, could hang out, and that was where my group used to hang out. And we respected that. Like, our year and I think even the year below us respected that you're not allowed to go in there until you're senior. Yep, fair enough. These little shits from the younger years did not care. I find that just really funny. I think every grade experiences that you kind of look at your grade above you, your grade and the grade below you, and you kind of go, yeah, not too bad. And then anything below that, you kind of go, yeah, they're little shits or little turds. But no, it's really exciting. As you can probably tell, I'm a lot more upbeat than my usual self. I hope I stay upbeat. I have anxiety about this. As I said, I have high moments and then I have really low moments. So having a bit of anxiety about those low moments because I really, really hate them. Because they hurt more after you come off a great happy high, not a drug high, but just a hormonal endorphins, whatever you want to call it. Brain chemistry is finally working high, and then I go back into a low. It hits more because I was just like, I was just feeling so great. What went wrong? And usually, there's not a trigger. Sometimes there is. I've got to get better at recognizing, and I've said this before, I hate using the word trigger. Certain people have made it not mean or not have the significance that it should, but it's the right term to use. Yeah, it's good. I'm feeling good. I think that's everything that happened to me on the weekend. So tattoo, job interview. I had a quick catch up with my best friend. I think I named her before. I think I named her Marie. If I didn't, she's the friend that I had in high school. We weren't too close, but then we left school and we became a lot closer. She's that friend. I always read on social media that apparently you always have that one friend that you hate when you meet them at first. And that was I didn't hate Marie, but I remember when I first met her and Hannah were getting really close. And this was back when year 8, year 9. And I felt like I was being left out of things. So I kind of had that, that's my best friend moment. But I got over that pretty quickly, and then Marie and I became really good friends. And we maintained that throughout high school. We weren't each other's best friend through high school. But we left. We probably didn't see each other for around 6 months. We ran into each other, caught up, and it's just been awesome ever since. We've been super duper close. So I love catching up with her. She's also the friend that I feel bad. I am slack with contacting, and I feel really bad for that. How hard is it to send a text message? She's the friend that I talked about that I'm scared of getting too close to, kind of the closeness I had to Hannah and Clara, because I'm scared of if I make her turn away because of my mental health. I think that's also something I've got to learn to get over, because she said to me that that's not going to happen. She's very understanding of me not being that good at contacting her. She knows that it's nothing personal. She knows that I do love her, and that when she messages me, I will reply. It's just usually I'm not the best at making that first contact, I think, because I'm also very scared of annoying her. I recognize I was a very annoying person in high school, and I think I may have even annoyed Hannah and Clara a lot. So I'm looking at all the things that might have turned Hannah and Clara away, and I'm really trying to tiptoe around those with Marie, but she knows everything that's happened. Her and Hannah are still really close. And, I remember it was coming up to her birthday, and she said that she was going to have like a little get together. It didn't end up happening, which is fine. She was going to have a little get together and invite Hannah, and I kind of said to her, if you tell Hannah I'm coming and she looks uncomfortable or she doesn't want me to be there, I can come and catch up with you at another date, because my intention's never to make Hannah or Clara feel awkward around me. That was never my thing, especially with the parties. It was never to make them feel awkward or horrible. But I've said before, I kind of had that state of, if you're an adult, you move past your feelings in the moment. They could go home and bitch about me until the cows come home. That's fine. But in the moment, if they act polite to me, I think that's the really adult thing to do. That's kind of how Hannah treats me at the moment. I run into her and Marie work at the same place where I go about once a week with Mum. And, you know, so I see her and we have the friendly, hi, how are you? And I really appreciate that. Like, I don't know if that sends her blood boiling. I don't know if she can't stand seeing me, but you know, the way she conducts herself, I really congratulate her on. You know, you'd think, if you didn't know the history, you'd think we just knew each other, we were never close, but then again, nothing ever happened. But no, I really appreciate that to my face. She's quite civil. And I try not to get too much into her, like, I was talking to Marie and there's some stuff going on at the moment. I said to Hannah, oh, do you remember this stuff? And she went, oh, yeah. And so I was trying to bring her into the conversation, but I also didn't want to, like, yank her in and make her feel like, so it was just that invitation if she wanted, but I didn't try to force anything, and I hope she didn't feel that I was forcing anything. You know, if she sent me a message one day and said, look, I kind of feel uncomfortable when you try to bring me into conversations with Marie, it would break my heart. But I'd respect that, and I'd do my absolute best to not make her feel uncomfortable anymore, because that's never what my aim is. My aim is to try and be civil, and my aim is to be nice, not seem, because I am trying to be nice. She deserves that much, but yeah, no, it was good having a quick chat with Marie, and we were planning on going to the pools, and I forgot to tell her I was getting my tattoo, and then after I got it, I went to the tattoo artist. She was awesome, by the way. Loved her so much. You know, how long until I can go in the pool? And she went 2 weeks, and I was like, shit, Marie's gonna hate me. But no, she was completely understanding. It looks like she might be getting a tattoo soon as well, which is exciting. I said if she goes and gets one, I'll be right by her side if she wants me there. Tattoo artist was absolutely fantastic. This one, out of the 3 I've gotten, so wrist, behind the ear, and just under the elbow, this one hurt the most. Not elbow, just under the crook of the elbow. This one definitely hurt the most. The shading, the outline was the worst part. So, as you can see, it's got the black outline, and then it's got the yellow, I can't camera correctly. It's got the yellow shade and the black shade to make the heart. The shading was fine, especially the yellow shading. It was more towards the tip of the ribbon that it hurt the most. But, you know, around the middle and the top wasn't too bad. But definitely the outline friggin' killed. And, you know, we were having a joke and a talk about when you're getting a tattoo, you don't want to seem like a wuss, so you kind of sit there trying to put on like a poker face, like, I don't feel this, but no, it did hurt. But no, the tattoo artists, they were absolutely awesome. There was a guy there that was there for about 5 or 6 hours yesterday, and he got a massive thing on his arm. And, oh, God, there was so much, and sorry, this is going to get a bit gross, so much blood from it, and I could just see, so we were getting our tattoos one at a time, and went my sister, mum, and me last, so I was sitting there watching this guy get tattooed, and just tissue after tissue of blood, and I'm going, no thank you. But yeah, my next tattoo I think I'm going to get is an outline of Stitch. It's a colourful outline. It looks really awesome. I think I'm going to get it on my foot, which I think it's either the foot or the ankle itself that is the worst place you can get it. I think the ribs are really bad as well. I don't know, I haven't done much research, but from what I hear, the foot and the ribs are apparently the worst places that you can get them pain-wise. But, you know, if it's just the outline of Stitch, I think I'll go okay. I was planning on getting, and I'll just show them to you because they're sleeping right next to me. There's Boo Boo and there's Oscar, being cute little boys. I was planning on getting their paw prints tattooed on me, but then I figured, you know, if I have any dogs in the future, which I do plan on getting, I do love my boys very much, and if there is a way for me to keep them forever and never get a dog again, I'd much rather keep my 2 boys than ever get another dog. But I do plan on having dogs in the future, and so I kind of thought, what if one day I've had 10 different dogs in my lifetime and I've only got Oscar and Boo tattooed, their paw prints tattooed on me doesn't mean I loved my other dogs any less. Do I love them anymore? So I kind of figured, you know, in sake of fairness, I probably won't get their paw prints done on me. I think in the future, once mum and dad have passed away, and I know that's a very morbid thing to think about, I do kind of maybe want to get their wedding anniversary somewhere. I don't believe in getting dates until the date is set forever. So the reason I say once they've passed away is because once they're dead, you know, their wedding date is never going to change. So I've also thought about getting that one in the future. Not the type of person to get sleeves or any massive tattoos. I've talked about how I prefer discreet before. That's just me. I try not to judge on people. I know a teacher I used to have, we called him Smills. That's not his real name. He was an artist, and he had sleeves all up and down his arms. I think he had a few on his legs as well. But they were all his own art, which was really amazing, and it looked great on him. Just not my thing. But yeah, I think this has been a really long video, but I'm super happy today. Hopefully this happiness will keep up. I hope whoever's watching this, I've seen someone commenting on my videos. I see you, and you know, I don't think this will ever go anywhere, but if I ever blow up in the future, you'll be my first commenter, so thank you very much. But you know, I hope you've had an awesome weekend. Anyone who watches this, I hope you have an awesome week, and I hope, you know, everything works out. And if you want to leave a comment, I'm going to be one of those people that like and comment and share if you enjoyed. But no, thank you for anyone who is watching. I know it seems stupid for me to say, oh, I put it on YouTube, but I wasn't expecting to get any views. When you put something on the internet, no matter how well kept you think it is, someone's going to see it. You know, I'm not doing any hashtags. I'm not trying to get this stuff found. If you're the person who's commenting, I don't know if you know me personally or not. I don't know how you found this. But yeah, so it wasn't ever my intention for people to find it. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens if I keep up with this, you know. If I get too busy, I hope it's something I keep up with. I feel it's very cathartic, and it's good for me to record the good and the bad, and it's more of a, if, and this will sound really dark, if anything was to ever happen to me, it's just a collection of everything that was going on, if that makes sense. I don't want anything to ever happen to me, whether that be on purpose or on accident. I don't plan on anything happening to me at this point. But if something were, it's kind of this, I was here, this was what was happening in my life type of thing, which can sound stupid, but that's what I'm doing at the moment. So I appreciate it, and I really hope that everyone else is doing really well. And I'll talk to you, whoever's watching this, another time.